I wanted you to see what real courage is, instead of getting the idea that courage is a man with a gun in his hand. It's when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway, and you see it through no matter what. You rarely win, but sometimes you do. Tom Robinson, a black man, is accused of raping Mayella Ewell, a white woman. He is on trial for his life. But this isn't Tom's story. It's 1935 in Macomb, Alabama. Tom is represented by Atticus Finch, a passionate lawyer who firmly believes in Tom's innocence. A lawyer who is willing to stake his reputation on it. But this isn't Atticus's story either. Scout and Jem are raised by their father Atticus, with the help of Calpurnia, their maid. Together with their friend Dill, they spend their summers playing outside, trying to get a glimpse of Boo Radley. The Radley place fascinated Dill. In spite of our warnings and explanations, it drew him as the moon draws water. Inside the house lived a malevolent phantom. People said he existed, but Jem and I had never seen him. People said he went out at night when the moon was down and peeped in windows. According to Miss Stephanie, Boo was sitting in the living room cutting some items from the Macomb Tribune to paste in his scrapbook. His father entered the room. As Mr. Radley passed by, Boo drove his scissors into his parents' leg, pulled them out, wiped them on his pants, and resumed his activities. The mystery surrounding Boo is enough to make the children reckless, often getting into trouble for their antics. But the summer of 1935 changes everything. Atticus is preparing for Tom's trial, determined to protect his client and sway the minds of a jury that is likely already convinced of Tom's guilt based on the color of his skin. Scout, Jem, and Dill are just as invested in the trial, believing in Atticus and therefore believing in Tom. It is a summer unlike any other, and one that Scout will remember for the rest of her life. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee is a staple text in most schools. Told from the perspective of Scout, it is taught in an attempt to tackle racial bias, not only in the court system, but in our hearts. Other great books that address these same weighty issues are Monster by Walter Dean Myers and The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. Steve is on trial as an accomplice to a murder. He finds out firsthand the flaws within the U.S. court system. In an attempt to understand the events and preserve his perspective, he records his experiences in the form of a screenplay. Before long, the plot is so twisted and confused, Steve isn't even sure what's happening anymore. To see how it all plays out, reserve a copy of Monster by Walter Dean Myers at your library today. Star is a lone witness to her friend's death. Well, actually, Khalil was murdered by the police. As the key to unlocking the truth, Star feels the pressure from all sides, her community, the cops, even the nation. This is a lot for any 16-year-old to handle. What will Star decide to do, and what will the repercussions be? Grab a copy of The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas to find out. But what about Tom? Will he be convicted or acquitted? Will the children ever come face to face with the phantasmic Boo Radley? All these questions and more can be answered in Harper Lee's novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. But there is one way in this country in which all men are created equal. There is one human institution that makes the pauper the equal of a Rockefeller, the stupid man the equal of an Einstein, and the ignorant man the equal of any college president. That institution, gentlemen, is a court. It can be the Supreme Court of the United States, or the humblest JP court in the land, or this honorable court which you serve. Our courts have their faults, as does any human institution. But in this country, our courts are the great levelers, and in our courts, all men are created equal. I'm no idealist to believe firmly in the integrity of our courts and in the jury system. That is no ideal to me. It is a living, working reality. Gentlemen, a court is no better than each man of you sitting before me on this jury. A court is only as sound as its jury, and jury is only as sound as the men who make it up. I am confident that you gentlemen will review without passion the evidence you have heard, come to a decision, and restore this defendant to his family. In the name of God, do your duty.